So it's really hard to describe this week as Jaguar fans. Thursday, January 14th, it was announced that Urban Meyer would be the next head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then today, Friday, January 15th, 2021, Urban Meyer had his introductory press conference as the newest head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it was just a powerful, revolutionary day. The Jaguars didn't go out and hire the next young up-and-coming coordinator turned head coach. They didn't go out there and hire a head coach kind of looking for a second stint as an NFL head coach after he kind of flamed out as his last job. The Jaguars got Urban Meyer, a guy that has literally never failed as a head coach. Urban Meyer has been successful at all the different head coaching spots that he's had in college football, whether it be Bowling Green, Utah, Florida Gators, or Ohio State. He won national championships at both Florida and Ohio State, and he was definitely the number one hire in my books. And Jaguars Nation is going crazy as we are about to be able to bring in Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer in the fold. Really a huge step in changing around this franchise. So Urban Meyer had his introductory press conference today, and in this video, I'm going to give you some takeaways I had from it. Now, I'm not going to lie, seeing Urban Meyer and Jaguar gear is quite strange for me. I mean, when I compare it to the past, like Gus Bradley, I didn't really hear about him until really kind of he came over and he was the next hot guy. Then the Jaguars hired him. He was new on the radar for me. I had known about Doug Marrone for a couple years, just going back to his days for the Buffalo Bills. But Urban Meyer, I've known this guy pretty much my whole entire life. Once upon a time, I was actually a Florida Gator fan growing up, and I saw this guy. I've been to 90% of his home games at Florida. I was at the 2008 national championship game against Oklahoma. I've been following this guy since I was 11 years old, so I've known this guy most of my life. So seeing him in his different stops and now seeing him in Jaguars gear with the Jaguars background, talking about Jacksonville and talking about Duval County. It's quite odd for me, but it's a sight that I can definitely get used to. But I really enjoyed his press conference. Like when I compare it to past press conferences, when we brought in Gus Bradley, it was very it seemed like Gus Bradley was trying to sell himself. It seemed like he was trying to pump everybody up. Hey guys, I'm Gus Bradley. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do this, and that. I'm high, exciting. I'm very enthusiastic. And then I remember a couple years later, Doug Marrone's opening press conference. It was more like Tom Coughlin's press conference, the whole let's win lunch thing. Everybody was really excited about that. So it really wasn't, almost Doug Marrone took a backseat to Tom Coughlin. It was pretty much both of their introductory press conferences. But Urban Meyer came in there. Everybody knew who Urban Meyer was. It didn't feel like he was selling himself to anybody. He just basically said, look, I'm going to come in here. We're going to build a great coaching staff. We're going to come out here. We're going to win games. We have a tremendous opportunity at hand. And it was really just fascinating being able to watch Urban Meyer. And it was really starting to set in that, man, this was becoming real. So Urban Meyer pretty much noted that Jacksonville was the right time and place for him. Obviously, there have been rumors about him going to the NFL for a little bit, really over the last decade, I guess, but really in the last year, he started taking it more seriously, and he said multiple times that this job right now is the most attractive in the NFL, just given the draft capital, number one pick. He said he's got a great owner, his words, that we have a great owner in Shad Khan, who he has a great relationship with. So it's really cool hearing that of all the head coaching positions, 7 vacancies, and the Jacksonville Jaguars somehow have the most attractive spot. And this is all about, we go back to Team Tank. I was all aboard Team Tank whole entire season. I wanted the team to tank. I was openly rooting for it. And this is what we get from it, man. We not only get Trevor Lawrence, we get the most attractive head coach. Urban Meyer is not here if we don't have the number 1 overall pick. I can guarantee you that. We're probably going the Arthur Smith, Justin Fields route. Instead, we get Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence. So yeah, he said it was a right time and place for him. Another thing that he is putting together a coaching staff right now, and he's working on it. Apparently, he was working on it pretty much all day yesterday, and he wants to put together an elite staff. Like, so I would expect. I mean, me personally, I would want both of his coordinators to have coach like NFL experience. I would rather not bring in guys clean. I guess maybe I wouldn't mind as much as an offensive coordinator coming here, I guess with mostly college experience, just because, you know, I mean, NFL offenses, it's becoming more innovative now, and you know, we need new ideas to come about it if we want to stay ahead of the curve in the NFL. But really, like defense coordinator, I would definitely like a guy that has a lot of NFL experience. One name that comes up is Raheem Morris, who interviewed for the head coaching job. Apparently, Urban Meyer may like him for the defense coordinator spot. I think that would be a home run hire. Apparently, it looks like Charlie Strong might become the linebackers coach. I'll go more over coaching kind of candidates later on, and basically like once we fill the positions, what they all bring to the table. But you know, this is one strength I thought about Urban Meyer was he puts together great coaching staffs, elite coaching staffs, and it looks like he's right now is really working to bring that over to us. Another thing that I really like that he says is that the fans deserve a winner, and they'll pretty much do their best to win. So, you know, of course, we all want the team to win. We all like that. We all feel like we deserve winning. It's great hearing him say that, but obviously this is what we kind of hope he brings to us. He did note that he's done a lot of research before coming into the NFL. You know, he mostly, like, he's talked to Jimmy Johnson a lot. Jimmy Johnson's pretty much the guy that you hope Urban Meyer can be. Jimmy Johnson was very successful at the University of Miami, won national championships there, and then goes to Dallas Cowboys and won some Super Bowls over there. So he worked with him on the Fox staff. Urban Meyer was on the college football side, and Jimmy Johnson was on the NFL side. So he consulted with him a lot about it. You know, he talked to a bunch of former coaches and a bunch of former players too, or players that are in the NFL right now, guys that he used to coach. And, you know, he basically, one thing that he asked him was, you know, why do some of the organizations win and why do some lose? So he's really not only taking a look at like, oh, what do you do on the field, but more so like, what is the organization like? Is this, are you a part of a good culture? What do you guys do from like day to day? How do the coaches interact with the players? How is the front office and all that? Like he's really trying to take notes about the whole culture thing. That's one big reason why Urban Meyer was brought in, not only the coach, but, you know, he needs to build this winning culture. He needs to install really just set the tone for this organization, and that's what Urban Meyer is going to plan to do. Next thing, the Jaguars, really the number one draft pick, I noted this earlier, number one draft pick played a huge role in getting the job, and it's really funny because Urban Meyer said that the Jaguars are not positioned here, or positions here not by accident. And then immediately he goes, Shad was involved with the roster last season. So like he basically confirmed that Shad was a part of us guys. Shad was Team Tank. Maybe Dave Caldwell wasn't Team Tank. Maybe Doug Marrone wasn't Team Tank. The players weren't Team Tank. But Shad Khan knew what he was doing. He knew what was at hand. And he really helped position us to get the number one overall pick. And, you know, he knew that the number one pick would bring in the quarterback and the head coach. He'd been in talks with Urban Meyer for some time about, you know, pretty much since the Super Bowl last year. So, like, he knew what was at hand. And give Shad credit. You know, we all like to kind of crap on Shad Khan, but he knew what was going on here. So the next takeaway, Urban Meyer has been waiting for the perfect opportunity to coach the NFL. Urban Meyer said that he would not have jumped into a situation where he didn't think that he could win. So he looked at all the head coaching vacancies, and really there are only two rumored to his name. You know what I mean? He would not have gone over there. You know, like there are some coaches out there, like I'm sure Arthur Smith, like whatever, like he would have jumped to a head coaching spot no matter where he got a job at. Eric Bieniemy probably would have jumped to any organization that gave him a head coaching hire. Urban Meyer was not like that. Urban Meyer was like, look, my legacy is on the line. Like, I may only get like really one shot at the NFL. I want to be somewhere, at least for what Urban Meyer calls the long haul. So he wants to be somewhere where he wants to set himself up as the greatest coach of all time. You know what I mean? I would say Nick Saban is the best college football coach of all time, just given like his 6 national championships and stuff like that. But Nick Saban failed at the NFL level. You know what I mean? Like, I think Urban Meyer would love to be able to win these national championships in college football, then get to the NFL and win Super Bowls too. Like, and obviously he wants to go somewhere that can give him a great quarterback, that has a great owner, that has a lot of flexibility with what they want to do. And, the Jaguars are going to be a coach-centric team. He's going to be involved with the GM hiring. And obviously he's going to be able to build his own coaching staff. So, you know what I mean? He saw this as a great opportunity for him. And, he came over in here and took it. So Urban Meyer can hopefully bring some wins over here. And he said another big reason why he came really to the Jaguars was his relationship with Shad Khan. Like I said earlier, the relationship started at the Super Bowl last year, and they've really been in talks over the last year. So apparently they talked at the Super Bowl, then kind of kept talking throughout the rest of the year. And I think what started really conversations was just Urban Meyer kind of talking about culture and organizational success, and I think that really grabbed Shad Khan's really grabbed his attention. And I think he's been in talks with him over the course of the year, and I think there's a very good chance that Shad Khan might have known that Doug Marrone's probably on his way out, probably going to be getting rid of Dave Caldwell. Urban Meyer is probably going to be the guy, but we need to make sure that we are positioned to really get Urban Meyer. And obviously, number 1 overall pick and all that stuff really helps out. So that was another thing. Like I said, give credit to Shad Khan. And then Shad Khan, was also in a press conference. He answered some questions. He said that he views his team as a coach-centric team, and it seems like that's obviously the NFL is a copycat league, and not only a copycat league, but it's mainly like the NFL evolves. Everything evolves. If you're not evolving and you're staying static, then you're not going to succeed. You know what I mean? That's, one thing that's great about different countries. If you're not in a communist country, the communist countries kind of stay static, but over here, with the United States, there's a lot of private businesses, and we all kind of compete, and everything kind of evolves, and really the best will kind of come on top. It's the same with the NFL, man. The NFL really molds itself to the direction that it needs to go. There's some people that kind of beat the curb, and those are the most successful guys like Bill Belichick, Sean Payton, Andy Reid. These guys always seem to kind of be on the forefront of great organizational success. And the Jaguars are going to try to attack this, man. I mean, the 49ers are one of the teams that did it with Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan was brought in first. Then they hired GM John Lynch. Same thing with the Browns last year with Kevin Stefanski. Then he went over there and hired GM. And then now, they're in the playoffs. So, it's coach is obviously a very, very important thing. And then basically he says that Shad basically told Urban who he wants to be the GM. I'm sure Urban Meyer will talk with the GM and see if they can mesh, because obviously you had to have a great relationship. Urban Meyer called it a partnership. You got to have a partnership with the people around you, like with the GM, because from what Shad Khan said, Shad Khan has evolved really the way this organization stands. When he first when he first kind of started off here, it was Gus Bradley reported Dave Caldwell, who reported to Shad Khan. And then once he brought in Tom Coughlin, it was like, look, Doug Marrone, Dave Caldwell on the same level. They report up to Tom Coughlin, and Tom Coughlin reports up to Shad Khan. And he basically said, a couple weeks ago after Black Monday or whatever, when he fired Doug Marrone, that look, like he's going to have both. He's not going to have all these different people between him and the top guys. The GM, head coach are on the same level. Both of them report to him, and that allows this communication to be better. It allows basically messages to stay unfiltered. And I definitely like this, because it shows that Shad Khan's going to stay closer really to the football side of things. He's going to stay. One of his big criticisms is absentee owner, but it seems like he's really trying to step up and really be just a better owner. So I definitely commend him for that. And one thing that Urban Meyer kind of spoke about is he's gonna let this guys do his job. So obviously the GM and Urban Meyer need to mesh well, because they're really going to be working hand in hand. I'm sure Urban Meyer is going to, talk with him about different personnel moves, going to give him different draft stuff. And, they're going to work together on stuff. But ultimately, it will be the GM. So they have to make sure that they kind of see things eye to eye. But he's going to let his guys do his job. Let his offense coordinator do his job. Let the defense coordinator kind of call his plays. He's going to allow all this to happen. So, and that's one thing that's great about organizational success. You can't be micromanaging. You got to let your guys do their job. You got to let your guys flourish, and hopefully that can really bring great things. So yeah, that's one thing that looks like Urban Meyer really plans to do. So Urban Meyer did note that the last 10 years, he really started studying the NFL. And by this, he means really in the last year, he really, started getting kind of excited about maybe an opportunity. He started really studying things like salary cap and like roster management in the NFL, because obviously personnel control is a lot different than college football. College football, it's all recruiting. You can stack up, really get the best guys. There's really unlimited 5-star prospects that you can bring in with college football. But NFL is different. Obviously, you can only pay a certain amount of high quality veterans. The key really to the NFL to success is to be able to draft well and have your quarterback. So he's been studying all that. And he's also been studying all the different NFL rosters. He says that he's not really only studying the Jaguars roster. He's going out there and really looking at every single team's roster, seeing what different teams do well and stuff like that. And I think that's really smart. I mean, get to know the rest of the NFL. Like, see, if you're only focused on the Jaguars, you know what I mean? How are you going to know where your wide receiver core matches up with everybody else, where your defensive line matches up versus everybody else? You know what I mean? Like, he gets a good view at everybody, and it's pretty cool. So one of the last takeaways is facilities. Now, one thing that Shad Khan did promise Urban Meyer is different facilities. Now, facilities, ideally in today's NFL, it's kind of away from the stadium, because, I don't really know why this is super important. Maybe some other people do, but apparently, right now the Jaguars facilities, it's at the stadium. They had their practice field there. They had their indoor flex field at Daly's place, and they had the stadium. But apparently, if they get their own standalone place, like somewhere else, kind of away from the stadium, it can do better. Like, it gives you more flexibility to do a lot of great things. And you almost wonder, I wonder what this would entail. Lot J just failed. So, this is me putting my tinfoil hat on. What if Shad Khan goes somewhere, buys a bunch of land, builds up the facilities there, and then next thing you know, maybe once there's a need for a new stadium, he builds a new stadium kind of over here. He builds his own entertainment district, and then boom, Shad has a city within the city. That's obviously, I didn't get that from anywhere, but it's kind of interesting to think. He has enough money. Maybe he says, you know what? I don't need Jacksonville. I'm going to build my own empire, and then all the revenue, all the earnings, everything is going to go to me. You never know. So those were some of my takeaways to really the press conference. I thought it was really excited to hear Urban Meyer talk. It was cool seeing him in the Jaguars, really Jaguars gear, and I'm really fascinated for the next step. I can't wait to hear really Urban Meyer start talking about the Jaguars roster. I want to know what he thinks about, DJ Chark, about the defense. I want to hear him start naming guys by name, because today he didn't name any Jaguars at all. And obviously he's not supposed to. That's not really what today was for, but, he mentioned Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, guys like this. That's really all the personnel I kind of mentioned when it comes to upcoming prospects. But I really want to, just see him get a deep dive at the personnel of the team. I don't know when the next time we'll hear him talk. I imagine once he kind of finalizes the coaching staff, I imagine, and obviously the GM too. I imagine he'll talk to the media again, but, I can't wait for the next parts of this whole process. So yeah, that's some of that. I do want to give some shout outs, man. I recently hit 10,000 subscribers. I did a live stream last night, and I had a bunch of really big donations. I had Ava Van Pelt, Washington State Jags fan B New, and Jaguars Ken Knowledge all donate $100 or more yesterday to my stream. So really appreciate you guys for that. And also Slayer JE1 donated $50. And I had a whole bunch of new members kind of join the channel. you guys, it's so humbling that you guys like my content enough to do that. And I love that I'm able to kind of bring you guys Jaguars news and analysis and just, just be a fan talking to other fans, man. I love this platform that we built up here. It wasn't just me that did it. We all did it together. You guys push me and motivate me to push out more videos. And I really appreciate you guys more than you guys even know. So thank you so much, man. Definitely drop a like on the video if you guys enjoyed. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at UCF_Jaguar. And have fun watching some of the playoff games this weekend. And I'll catch you guys next time.